Hello and welcome to the Monster Painter. This time I battle the pile of shame and show you the miniatures I get finished. And here we go. My big pile of half-finished miniatures never seems to shrink and always seems to grow, but I took a crack at it and I got some things done, so let's take a look at just what I got done. First up, we have a Legion of Everblight Nephilim Bolt Thrower, or a big monster with a ballista. Yikes, very dangerous. He's from the old game Warmachine Hordes, which I think they're trying to breathe new life into. At any rate, I don't play that game, and I painted up this terrifying monstrosity to be used as a Harut Stinger in a Frostgrave Red King campaign. Haruts are the demonic warrior thralls of a villainous, big bad evil guy, the Red King, and this fellow very, very effectively fulfilled his role. What a brute! Next up, we have a couple of run-down little dog houses. It's a fun bit of 3D printed scatter terrain, perfect to throw into town, village, or farmstead settings. It was a free STL from some source that I have long forgotten. In Frostgrave, you can equip a base with a kennel, and it allows you to add a warhound to your warband. I can just imagine one of those cheap old wizards complaining, "You expect me to pay 400 gold crowns for this rubbishy claptrap? Well, I'm going to, but I ain't gonna like it." On to this old plastic Warhammer Fantasy Battles model. He is a Brettonian longbowman. Once upon a time, these models were quite common. You really needed a lot of them to field them as an effective unit in the game. And then Brettonians went out of print and they became more desirable and very scarce. I don't know if they'll become more common again with the Brettonians' return in the new game Warhammer the Old World. At any rate, I love this simple model and will be using him as an archer in Frostgrave. He is perfectly suited for any fantasy setting and will work just fine in a historic medieval game. Just a great model. You gotta love him. Here we have a bit of soft cover. These two little trees are close to being trash builds. The trees themselves likely came out of a Green Army Man playset or something like it. I found them at the thrift store. They are pretty good and have a lot more dimensionality than such bits usually have. I attached them to a couple of rafts, which are waste material that help keep models stable during the 3D printing process. In this case, they are perfect for keeping the trees, the tippy trees, upright. I painted them up as dry trees because I don't think painting the leaves green would have been very effective, and of course, dry trees scream wasteland, which is where most of my games take place. The result is some pretty effective and useful scatter terrain. This wizard is the first model I have gotten done from the Besieged Sons of the Abyss board game. I picked up the game super cheap at a sale last year, and it is full of great miniatures like this guy. He is a player character model in that game, but I don't think I'm going to be playing the game. It's long, and it doesn't really appeal to me, but boy are the models in it ever a lot of fun. This fellow in particular could be used as a Red Wizard of Thay, but he is more likely going to be leading a warband into the frozen city of Old Felstad to battle it out for treasure and arcane knowledge. Here we have another model out of that Besieged board game. I'm not sure how this functioned in the game. Besieged is a tower defense game and not an Arthurian Quest Rise to Power thing. I suspect this was a stretch goal part of the game's initial Kickstarter. It's quite a nice model and will make a great treasure marker. I imagine that ancient wizards used to store their magical hand weapons in specially created stones. In Frostgrave, I can see the wizard's men dragging this treasure marker back to the base, the wizard unlocking the enchantments holding the weapon, only to discover that it's actually a grimoire and 20 gold crowns. I think this fellow is from the Gothic skirmish game Malifaux, but I'm not entirely sure. In my last Frostgrave campaign, we were using the Grave Mutation supplement to add some chaotic fun. One of my warband members, a lousy thug, got a roll on the mutation table. Unfortunately, he gained the very detrimental magical addiction trait, which weakened him significantly. Seeing as thugs are free in Frostgrave, I was just going to replace him when I remembered I had a miniature that looked kind of like a junky. So I dug this fellow up, painted him up, and named him Benway, and kept him in the warband. I even grew fond of the sad little character, and then he died because, Frostgrave. At any rate, he'll be getting new work in an upcoming Forbidden Psalm campaign as a gruesome disemboweler ghoul. Now we have some big, chunky pillars from the Middle-earth strategy battle games set, The Mines of Moria. They are nice, simple, solid bits of terrain, suitable for just about any tabletop setting. Although I have never played Middle-earth strategy battles, I am a big fan of the models from this line. Whether it's simple functional terrain like this here, or the cavalcade of orcs and men that make up the setting, their simple naturalism is a breath of fresh air compared to the overwrought fantasy that dominates GW's other lines. It's just a great lot of fun stuff. Beautiful. This Reaper Dark Heaven miniature is called the Barrow Warden Mystic. But he has to be the happiest lich I've ever seen. I mean, look at him. He is so damn pleased with his orb, he can't hide it. Now, naturally, this model could fill the role of a lich or a necromancer or any other kind of undead sorcerer. But I have to say he would be perfect as the title role in Frostgrave's first great epic campaign, Thaw of the Lich Lord. Yeah, he is ready to raise the dead, warp reality, and conquer the world! Barrels have to be my favorite bit of scatter terrain. They can be treasure tokens, clue markers, or just texture for the dungeon. This set are 3D printed models from some free STL I got somewhere, I don't remember anymore. I like these barrels in particular because they can fulfill all the aforementioned roles. As well, they would be the perfect weapon for a giant ape to use in order to try and kill a pesky plumber. From the outer rim of the galaxy, we have this treacherous Slugman. I believe he was originally a Micro Machines toy. He's a pretty good scale for 28mm though. Perhaps a little small to accurately depict Jabba the Hutt. The material he's made out of is a little bit rubbery, but he took the paint well enough. He is an obvious choice for a custodian of the black market whenever such a character is needed. I'm sorry, you're gravely mistaken. My client certainly is not a pan-galactic mafia boss. Ridiculous. He is merely a humble spice merchant trying to make a living in these chaotic times. And finally, we come to this strange and horrifying manifestation of unknowable terror. I'm pretty sure he is a Cthulhu Wars model of some kind with a unpronounceable name and a bunch of lore that's not very science fiction-y at all. At any rate, I acquired him as a centerpiece in a Red King campaign scenario, the Planar sinkhole. You see, the Red King has eroded the barriers between dimensions, creating a planar sinkhole. It's a somewhat abstract concept, and I thought this weird bulbous model would fulfill the job just right. And he did. And there you have it. The whole lot of freshly painted miniatures ready to hit the tabletops for some wargaming fun. And speaking of fun, it's time for a monster fight! Tonight's monster fight features this ancient bag of bones! He has been dead for 1,000 years, and he's loved every minute of it. Verse this wily old codger. He's been alive for 100 years, and boy do his joints ache. Which wizard will win? Only a toss of the dice can decide. Okay, well, that's a strange result. Well, I guess this match is gonna be a real blast. You shall succumb. Shall succumb to me. You have no power here. I am eternal power. You will be defeated. Oh crap. Oh yeah, this is bad. Oh boy. And there you have it. When wizards collide, no one survives. Hey, I'd just like to take a moment to thank my 2 members, Mark and Lauren. Your ongoing support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support the Monster Painter with money, all you have to do is click that little button down there and become a Monster Painter member. And you will get a monthly monster fight exclusive to members only. You will get badges. And more importantly, I will teach you the dark and forbidden secrets of unknowable gods. Wait a second. That's not a dark and unknowable god. It's just a toy model. Corpse markers! Corpse markers because of grim, dark fun. Remember to like, comment, duta gapatatico bagata gota gotaga. Share the video and ring the bell. Ring the bell!